Hi. Good morning. Welcome to the episode. We got a busy day ahead of us. We are headed to speak with, who are we talking to? The town of Bluffton. Our local government has asked me to come speak to them, the Chamber of Commerce, about how they can use social media and things of that nature. So we're doing that. I just got back in town from being out of the office. I was in Asia for like 9 or 10 days. And so I've got a lot of work to do, a lot of catching up to do. We're just jumping right back into it. Enjoy. See you in person. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah. Thanks for the invite. Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? Sean and Beav. Good to meet you. It's my entourage. Yeah, we do social media. I got people. All right, so I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what we got going on. So back in 2013, I was having a second daughter, and well, let me back up even before that. I was in the automotive business before this, and we ended up growing that into a national business where we got a lot of custom cars from actually kind of around the world, and we were building and selling cars for customers all over the place, and high-end stuff, celebrities. I know Debbie knows me from that, and I've known Debbie for quite a while now, so it's kind of fun to be here. And I was born and raised here, so my love for the Low Country is like none other, and I think it's an amazing place, and it's one of my favorite places in the world. And I was just telling Debbie, I just got back from a 9-day trip in Vietnam, right? So I've been all over the world in a lot of different places. I haven't seen it all, but this area is the best. You know what I mean? So I'm very close to that. I want to see what we can do to help kind of grow that for everybody. But anyway, so I started Tactical Baby Gear when I was having a second daughter, and I didn't want to be the guy wearing the girly diaper bag. And so that was when social media was really early. And so we got on this silly little platform called Instagram. And that's how we communicated our brand, our message, our product to the world. Instagram and then Facebook. So we really built this multi-million-dollar company globally using social media. You know, so we're a small, locally, nobody really knows who we are. Around the world, everyone knows who we are. And that's just the power of the internet, the social media platforms. And things have changed along the way. So I think that's what we're here to try to figure out is like what's working, what's not working, what are best practices. I think there's a huge amount of opportunity for the public information coming from local governments and fire departments and things like that nature to the public, because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure that there's not a lot of social media ads being run from the public departments to the public, and I think that's where the white space is for a lot of the ads. Okay. Yeah, and not so much the boosting product side of it, but using like the ads manager for different things, whether that's to and you kind of have to reverse engineer what you're trying to accomplish, right? So for us, it's selling a product. So we kind of cater our ad campaigns in such a way and do a lot of branding. But for you guys, it might be trying to increase tourism or let the public know about safety things or events or hurricanes or things like that. The problem that social media has experienced in the past several years is the organic reach dying tremendously. So you like, even us, like unless we have just a killer post, like we've got, I don't know, close to 400,000 followers across our platforms. Sometimes we'll post something on Facebook and it'll get 8 likes. It's like the organic reach. Like sometimes you get some that are just organically go viral, just hit right with the community and the crowd. But you're like, how do I have hundreds of thousands of followers and only 8 likes? Well, it's because they show it to a small percentage of people, and then if no one really reacts with that, it just kind of dies and doesn't go any further than that. So when the town of Bluffton or the fire department or whoever has thousands of people that follow that page, it doesn't mean they're all seeing it. So when you post something organically about hurricane prep or this or that, like 2 or 3% of those people might see it, and that's it. So increasing
maybe we'll just jump in, but we found that we have to pay to play.
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Pay to play.
100%. So I don't know where the marketing budgets are within these places and what kind of stuff you can put out there. But the more you're willing to spend on the social platforms, and again, it's reverse engineering what you're trying to accomplish. So again, is it tourism? You're trying to get people to come visit? Are you trying to spread the message for local businesses that we're trying to hire people? Is it cheaper housing in an area to try to help the economics? Whatever the case is, and figuring out what's the audience. Is it in Bluffton? Is it in Colleton, or wherever it is, and you can hone that down by zip codes and by 1 mile radiuses of a point and things of that nature. So it's just getting smart about reverse engineering what you're trying to accomplish and honing that message, for whatever it is. And I don't know the extent of what kind of stuff goes out, but I imagine it's a lot of safety stuff. And I don't know if you guys do a lot with the travel and tourism and trying to bring stuff in. You put that on local businesses?
Chamber of Commerce does that.
Okay, got it. Yeah, the more you're willing to spend, and again, I don't know what the budgets are like for the different departments and how that's split up, but traditional advertising.
What's a budget?
Yeah. Oh, so you don't have a budget, so it's like unlimited?
Yeah.
But the reality is, we spend hundreds of $1,000s a month on Facebook ads.
Okay. So it really is pay to play.
Yeah, it's pay to play.
And that's
But we're going to a global
for
audience.
Right.
You guys are fortunate enough to where the number of people you're trying to reach is very small.
And I found that spending $50 is a lot of money. And
For the local,
for
yeah.
the local, to get like an event out or something, and that is almost like overkill. But our response is, to me, Facebook boosting an event, boosting a post has been the most effective advertising we do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the cheapest.
Right.
What's the,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And Instagram, yeah, it's all one and the same, right?
She's much younger.
Does anybody?
what's your typical sort of like, how much increase do you get, say, from spending $50 on a post?
Yeah.
How do you
I
see
don't
it
really
playing?
have these, sorry, Lindsay, go.
I can jump in. It all depends on when you do it, how long the ad's for, what's your demographics for the ad. Like, I've created a basically low country nutshell that hits Savannah too, and sometimes Charleston, depending on what it is. For like the DRCI race, the 5K, I wanted as many people for that, so I put it out further. But, and then how much money you put behind it, so it varies. I've had some that I've put money behind that didn't go very far, but then big events, i.e. the Christmas parade, you put money behind that and it blows up. I think it just depends. Currently, I'm trying to figure out what our audience really likes, and so far
And a big part of that too is the creative, right?
Yeah.
What the picture or the video or the graphic or whatever that stuff is. So having a creative team behind that to help, because a lot of times it's like one person trying to figure it all out on their own. And she may be good at organizing the ad and figuring out the demographics, but maybe she's not, and I don't know, I'm just using this example, maybe she's not artistically the best person. You might get a graphic designer or somebody else, or a copywriter even, that really sells the message, and that could be the difference in selling out an event or not. So the creative is a big deal, and we experience that a lot too. We're like, how did this not do anything, but this did? And a lot of times you don't get to decide either. Like, the audience will tell you if it's good or not, and creative is subjective, right? Like, I like this hat, you might not like this hat, That's why I got 3 guys on my team that are like in here helping me so we can put stuff out.
Thank you, B, for that.
Like,
but I
we're
think
one
it's a constant-
small company versus like an entire like local
But
government.
I think the perception of our colleagues and our bosses is, they're just playing on social media, versus having a dedicated, and again, Lindsay's a luxury, believe me, because I kept getting dinged, social media's not up to our standard, blah, blah, but there's only so much time in a day. So I think that.
I want to back up a little bit and kind of reverse engineer what was before social media. What were you guys doing to get this information out there? TV, radio, newspaper.
In the beginning, I've been with the town 6 years, so 6 years ago, maybe we ran an ad for a particular event, maybe.
In like a newspaper or something?
Maybe, but not many of them. So it would probably be mostly traditional media releases, and hope that the newspaper and TV picked them up. Which, of course, who reads a newspaper anymore?
Debbie, when you were the PIO for the sheriff's office,
Yeah.
what did you do?
Oh, God.
Back then.
That would be that, traditional.
She went to the bar and told people. I've known Debbie for a while. Yeah.
There were
more.
She meant 16.
Yeah, there were. There was a
There
whole
were.
lot.
Okay, that's a great point. That's a
I mean,
great
prime
point.
example is the Island Packet. They don't even print in Bluffton anymore. I mean,
Right.
it's
So my
disgusting.
point being that
Find the form.
these, I mean, there was budgets there for that in the past, and now it seems like there's no budget there for the current state of marketing, right? I mean,
It's true.
Fairly-
right. It's social media is not a joke anymore. Like half the world is on social media, and we've built this multi-million-dollar business on social media only.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it's for real. That's where people are looking.
Yeah.
They're not
And
picking.
it's the reverse now. Now that you had such a great social media campaign, now traditional venues, Wall Street Journal, New York
Yeah.
Times, then it's almost like it's now inverse, reverse.
Well, they've picked it up from social media.
That's my
You know what I
point.
mean? Like,
Yeah. That it's,
Well, and how many media outlets now, we don't have to say, I can't tell you the last time I made a traditional press release. I can put out a Twitter, and then all of a
Done.
sudden the phones are ringing.
yeah.
Emails.
Well, there's no more middleman, and that's the great part. Like the internet, the social media platforms, there's no middleman. You don't have to go through the Island Packet or through CH2 magazine to put your message out there and pay them to do it. You just do it. But you can pay that platform. You can pay Facebook or Instagram, which is kind of the middleman, and get your message
You know
seen.
what's interesting?
Give me an example of something you guys might try to.
We have a recruiting issue, and then fire service
Yeah.
is historically beat up, publicly speaking, for lack of diversity. Females, African Americans, Asians, and pick it, we're white and Irish.
So here, okay,
Better term.
yeah.
It's been the history of our profession, and we drastically want to get away from that. And it doesn't, New York City, every time they hire somebody, gets sued.
Because they're
in the
not
hiring process, because it is not as
diversified.
as it should be or could be.
Right.
How would you deal with something like that? You talk about targeting. an
Yeah, well,
audience.
here's the great thing. If you want to hire more females and you want to hire a black woman or a white woman or a Hispanic or whatever, you can narrow down that audience and then you can deliver a message directly to that demographic and say, whatever you want to say to this man, woman, whatever, speak to them, show them a picture that relates to them. You can.
What would that cost? What has been your experience in the
Cost?
say, on Facebook?
So a lot of that comes down to the size of the audience. When you create an audience like that, Facebook will say the estimated size of that audience. In this area, it's going to be really, really
They give you an
small.
idea.
When you start giving that, getting that refined into an audience in Bluffton,
Specific.
I mean, you could spend $15 or $20 and reach a lot of people with that size audience.
so when you choose, and I'm very sophomore, so please jump in,
Sure.
Lindsay. But when you choose Boost, it'll take you to a page where you can say, where do you want to go with this?
See, it's never given me that option.
And then the ages, and then keywords, so you can even put Hispanic in there,
I'm
or,
totally missing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you could put
even beyond
keywords in
that,
there.
boosting isn't really the best product for that. If you
Okay.
go in and create an ads manager, are you familiar with ads manager?
Mm-hmm.
You go into ads manager, create an ads manager if you don't have one already. Another thing that you want to do with that is and this is kind of getting some detailed information, but the Facebook pixel, from the ads manager, getting that on your website, and you can retarget people who've been to the website if you're for different reasons. You may not use that right away, but it collects a lot of data too about who's coming to your website, what they're doing on your website. It's a lot like Google Analytics, but you're seeing it on the Facebook side of it, and then you can use that to retarget people and do whatever you want to do there based on what pages they've visited or not visited or whatever.
You should see manage ads or create ads on one of your.
Yeah, but you get a lot more data out of the ads manager than you do boosting a post. Because boosting a post, it'll show you like reach, engagement, and some very basic metrics. Ads manager, you can really dive deep into the data, so you can waste money quickly. But the pro to that is you can refine your message to a specific audience and be very relevant to that audience for what you're telling them. I don't know where you guys tend, if there's a specific area you tend to recruit people from, but if you could run ads to Ohio and things like that, people we know that people from Ohio like to come down here.
I don't know if
Maybe you can get some fire.
Like ads are running
Well,
within
and not
our-
only that, but you can target people who are already currently firefighters from other states and or people that are maybe visiting the area that are also a firefighter. Like, hey, would you like to be a firefighter here in the Low Country? You can really get granular with it. So, because if they're already that's an easier hire for you if they're already
Connected and trained.
in the, yeah.
Obviously, younger generations spend more, well, even adults are starting to trend more towards the phone versus a computer versus a tablet. Have you figured out a means to create a single message in a multi-platform format that is easier, be it cost-driven or free is relevant, but just some way to create a message that fits any screen that we want to target?
Well, that's kind of twofold, right? So you're talking about different devices versus different platforms. There's kind of two different situations there. So across devices, most people are on a phone. Well, I'd say 85% of people are on a phone. Now, when you get to an older,
91% use social on their phones.
Right.
On a mobile device.
right. So to your point, I mean, you just have to test things, you know, like is a vertical photo better than a wide photo for that demographic? That's kind of an individual case-by-case basis, I think. But the message, I think, is most important across the platforms versus the across different devices, because it'll format the photo or whatever to fit each device that you're looking at, but the message, I think, needs to change. So the people that you're talking to on Instagram, it's not going to be the same people you're talking to on Facebook or Twitter. You know what I mean? So you kind of, each platform almost has its own voice in a way because it's a different demographic. So we have to make content for men, we have to make content for women. And that's just, you know, so you have to kind of, not every single post has to be the same lane or the same bucket. It's like, okay, we need to make so many posts for these people, we need to make so many posts for these people. We got people that are buying for themselves, we got people that are buying as a gift.
Right.
Like, you just have to change the message, and maybe every third post is for a different audience, and that person doesn't care, but the next person does, you know?
Was there a major success or a major, like, this doesn't work or this really works? Was there ever those kind of moments that you really saw things take off?
Yes, and I mean, over the years, we've just continued to increase our budgets with ad spend because we've been able to, we've been exposed to more and more people. So it's just been a gradual increase of business, because we also so we sell a product, so we have to invest in inventory, and there's lead times on manufacturing and designing and all this stuff. So there's a balance for us. Well, yeah, because we've got it figured out on our end to where I can spend as much money as I have, and it will create the business for us, but I have to have the product to sell. So we're kind of limited, and it's a balance between reach and inventory. But yeah, it's a very good problem.
Yeah, all your problems are good problems to have.
Yeah, I've had worse problems for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just impressions, you know, for us. Again, it's very different from when you're trying to push information. Maybe not so much on the event side of it, because you could probably retarget people who've come to past events. You can use email addresses. If the guys have email addresses, you can upload to Facebook. That'll create an audience. It'll search out to the best of its ability those email addresses and connect it with individuals on Facebook. And then you can send them, like, so, you know what I mean? There's ways to get more people to follow the page. You can say, hey, these 900 people attended this last event. Maybe you collected email addresses through sales of tickets or whatever. Let's get them to come to next events or whatever. I don't know, do you guys do a lot of email marketing either, anybody? You know, there's that side of it too. And he'll tell you, there's so many ways to skin the cat. I mean, there's just unbelievable amount of things that you can do. So there's not like one right way. The biggest thing for us though, like when I was talking about impressions and trying to get people back, like retargeting people who've been to our website and haven't purchased is how we get people to purchase, right? Nobody buys on a first.
Didn't purchase, so
I send them more ads. Yep. Hey, come back, get 10% off. I mean, you guys have all seen ads like that, and you're like, they're following me around the internet. How do I know? How do they know? You know?
Yeah.
And there's tactics behind like getting back in front of people. But because nobody buys on a first impression, you don't see this item once and just buy it. You're like, oh, that's cool. And you see it again, you're like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe I shouldn't spend the money. And then it's like, oh, 10% off. You're like, all right, I'll buy it. You know, so it's like multiple impressions before somebody's willing to make a purchase on the sales end, selling a product. I don't know how that translates to this. I'm not an expert in public information. But when you're trying to reach people, I can help you, you know, on the side of
Besides having a fantastic product, would you say social media was your way to?
100%. How else am I going to tell the world about my product?
Exactly.
Everyone's staring at their phone all day long, even when they're not supposed to. They should be working, they should be driving, they should be everything else, but they're staring at their phone. So I'm going to make sure, you know what I mean? It's just an attention game.
And
like
your business started at what, 2013? 13, so 6 years, and you're now international.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of international from the day one because the power of the internet, right? Like, no one's off the table. Like some countries we don't ship to because they're like third world countries and they like lose packages and then we're out money. But yeah, I mean.
So we've talked about positive stuff. Can you tell us in your process a negative, something that, that maybe we should be aware of, be it on social media or just in general practice, dealing with public and outreach?
You're always going to have negativity on those platforms. You just have to brush those off. And like the way I look at it a lot of times, like you're not going to come to my house and start talking crap, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, if you have something negative to say about whatever, I'm just deleting
Really
your
that
comment.
passionate about a diaper bag?
Oh man, I mean that's why we've been all over the news a lot of times, because it's like, oh, you know, toxic masculinity, and you can't be a man without carrying a, you know, by carrying a girly diaper bag, it's taking your man card from you. Like, listen, it's no different from you having options in clothes to wear. Like,
Right.
well, I don't get up in the morning and put on a dress, I put on my jeans that, by the way, are cut for a
I see
man,
that completely
you know?
different. You're like, you're giving them the tool to.
Well, what's really funny about it is our
Yeah.
product gives parents and dads especially a different level of enthusiasm to be a parent
To be involved.
than they would
Yeah, I
otherwise.
agree.
Like, of course, most dads are be like, yeah, that's fine, I'll carry this bag, whatever, you know? But they don't want to carry their wife's diaper bag. They don't want to. Given the opportunity for a different choice,
Yeah.
well, yeah, like it's my diaper bag. It's not the baby's bag. Like I'm carrying stuff for the baby, but it's mine. I'm carrying it. So
giving them
like
the tools
I
to
want the
follow
bag I want. So
And-
they do it with a different level of enthusiasm, which is really interesting.
So that's where the negativity is coming from.
Well, yeah, people just think, oh, you can't be a man without that bag and this and that.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Get out of here. Yeah. So anyways, there's a lot of negativity that comes around with being, you know, you're just exposing yourself more to the public, and everyone on Facebook and Instagram has a voice, and they want to tell you their opinion. You know, you see that with politics and everything else.
And security to hide behind the screen.
Exactly. Yeah, you got those keyboard warriors out there. Well, and you can turn a lot of negatives into positives if you handle them correctly, and we have to deal with that all the time. You know, we'll get a review for somebody that's made a purchase, or a bad comment, and they'll give us a 1-star review because their package was stolen off their porch,
Which isn't your control.
which is, oh, this company, I can't believe it, my package was stolen. I'm like, the hell does that have to do with me? You got the package 2 days later, you got free shipping, all this stuff, and it's my fault that somebody stole it off your porch. But we usually make it right. It's like out of our control, but we want to make sure our customer's happy.
Right.
So we're like, hey, I'm so sorry that happened, we'll send you another one. Which is, we don't have to do that. But now that customer will take that 1-star review, turn it into a 5-star review. This is the best company that's ever happened. I will only do business with them, or refer all my friends to them, yada, 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 yada. So,
It's a great story.
thank you.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Honor. Yeah. Anything else?
See you guys. Thanks for having us. Bye, Debbie. Thank you.